Clannad, both the visual novel and the anime, is one of the most praised series of all time. And you know, I don't feel any different. Clannad was my first key visual novel, and after each ending made me cry, I've come to realize how special it is. If I could unread the visual novel or unwatch the anime, I would do so in a heartbeat to experience it again. However, despite the visual novel and anime being often praised, you don't really hear much about the movie. And I was wondering, why? The movie was released a month before the premiere of the anime, so when you think about it, this is the original Clannad animation. So today, we're going to take a look at the Clannad movie. We start with Tomia having a dream similar to the dream sequence we are used to, and his apparent hatred of his father. Tomia still has no particular reason or motivation. He comes across Nagisa, and instead of the normal "do you like school" sequence, we have a seemingly more confident Nagisa than the one we are used to, who both asks Tomia if she can walk to school with him and follows him after no answer. After rewatching this part in the anime, I realized what felt so wrong. Nagisa didn't smile once in the anime introduction, but she only smiles here. We get a 5-second glimpse into the future before they exchange names and depart from each other. I think it's important to note at this point that all voice actors return, though Tomia's is obviously different since this predates the anime. Thankfully, Tsunohara is Tsunohara and typically carries the scenes he's in. Nagisa is all smiles. Tomio announces her bid for student council president, and for some reason Kyo is her lackey of sorts. Another odd dream sequence of searching for that person later. We learn of Tomia's parent situation with his mother being dead and him unknowingly not speaking to his father since elementary school. It also didn't help that his father still wrecks his shoulder in this movie due to a drunken rage. No more basketball. Nagisa has yet to not smile. It's almost kind of creepy at this point. We finally get to the find something you need to do bit, 13 minutes into the movie, and she finally doesn't smile for 5 seconds. We get a track from the visual novel, which you don't realize how much you miss until you're subjected to these generic movie soundtracks. We get the Tsunohara backstory we already know, and now more Nagisa, who had a fever, which explains why we haven't seen her for 2 minutes and 47 seconds, who still can't walk up to school alone. The drama club chronicles begin, and Nagisa puts up a ton of posters that still end up defiled. Sakagami and Kyo come out of nowhere to be partially insufferable until Tsunohara and Tomia proceed to chase the current student council to claim justice. Ibuki kicks the crap out of Tsunohara to settle the issue and meets with her group on the rooftop to proclaim she'll supervise the drama club if Nagisa gets 3 members. Yes, Ibuki is still a teacher, and no, she doesn't know Nagisa's family personally in this adaptation. Nagisa can't find members, so she asks Tsunohara and Tomia, who decline until they basically can't, and become her stage boys. Tomia meets the family and faces off against Akio in a simple game of catch. Well, truth be told, that doesn't look simple at all, but Tomia seems to have no problem with it. Tomia stays over and seems to partially enjoy himself, and learns that Nagisa also has a dream that she's been having since she was little that she wants to base the play around. You probably see where this is going. Tsunohara ends up working under Yoshino before Tomoya and introduces him to Yoshino shortly after, which is how Tomia will end up getting his electrician job after this arc. Anyway, Nagisa can't finish her own play, so she, along with Tsunohara and Tomia, do what any reasonable production would do and wing it. Nagisa nervous, school festival things, and it's finally time. Nagisa doesn't hesitate here and instead confidently reenacts her play that is about her dream. Note that from this point on, there's only 30 minutes left of the movie, which is almost nothing in the context of the content that we theoretically still need to cover. Okazaki begins to freak out because the dream Nagisa was having had been the same as his all along. In the end, he realizes he loves Nagisa, which is kind of far-fetched because they have had basically no development romantically. Hell, it seems they barely spent any time together thus far in the movie. After that, 2 years went by. Nagisa couldn't graduate with them, of course, as she got sick again. From here on out, Tomoyo and Kyo are there for their events with their friends. We're cheering up Tomia after the inevitable happens, but I don't really see how they are friends. There are no scenes of them being friends, only scenes where they seem antagonistic in a way due to their student council authoritative ways. It wouldn't have killed them to include a minute or so of developing this beforehand, you'd think. Tomia is depressed after the death of Nagisa and is attempted to be cheered up by Tomio and Tsunohara. The best part about this is we get to see how Tsunohara feels about this, which of course he is distraught. We get a glimpse of happier times before Nagisa died, as well as a different Dango Daikazoku song which seems to trigger a lot of people, but I think it's cute. We see Nagisa give birth to Ushio, and years pass with Nagisa's parents taking care of her, whilst Tomia is depressed for many years just like his father had. The movie ends with all of Tomia's friends forcing Tomia on a trip with them together, unexpectedly including Ushio, for whom he saves from tripping, and after holding her for just a second, sees the dream he hadn't seen for a long time, with Nagisa standing there with a smile. The end. It probably doesn't have to be said that the pacing in this movie is ridiculously terrible. With such little time, we could only really develop Tomia, Tsunohara, and Nagisa. Tomio and Kyo are maybe given 2 minutes of screen time total. Kotami only has a cameo, and I hope you forgot about Ryo and Fuko, because they don't exist. They really should have used more soundtracks from the Clannad visual novel, or at least reworks of them. We get about 2 songs from Clannad, and the rest are dramatic sounding movie soundtracks that just don't fit the story. I can at least appreciate that all the voice actors reprise their roles, however. The movie tries too hard to be cinematic, honestly. It is a movie after all, but applying the movie formula to Clannad did not work. Many scenes don't have the original impact they should, not only because of how it's animated or what soundtracks are used, but simply because we don't have enough time to get connected to the characters with such a limited time frame. In many ways, this is a reimagining of Clannad, as they drop a lot of the fantasy-type elements from the story for more realistic and mature setting. However, in the end, it falls short compared to any other way to experience Clannad, and I simply can't recommend this movie. Many find it laughably bad, so perhaps you might want to watch it for that alone. I didn't mind it too much, and I'm not gonna lie, the ending did kinda get me, but that's with all the knowledge I already have of the series. I imagine this movie is just weak and possibly nonsensical to those who don't know anything about Clannad. So in conclusion, don't watch this movie, but thanks for watching this. See you next time.